Lamar Jackson had 2 turnovers in this game. The Ravens as a team had 3 turnovers in this game. Had the interception and obviously the fumble. And before we, Lamar's obviously gonna get the brunt of the blame, right? Because he's the quarterback. He gets the praise when he wins. He should get the blame when he loses. We've seen Lamar catch bad snaps and try to make something out of nothing. He's done that a lot, and often it turns into another crazy highlight Lamar Jackson play where he's finding someone in the end zone somehow, some way. Even when we're all saying, "Hey, get down," or throw it out of bounds, get down, get down. He just ends up making us look crazy and have these jaw dropping moments. Well, this time didn't work out that way. Just happened to be on the road in the playoffs for not being able to make magic out of a bad snap. But we could all say we wanted to get down, but it's like if he had done it again, we probably wouldn't be saying anything, would we? So, but the thing that's crazy is that if Mark Andrews catches that 2 point conversion, we're not even going to have this conversation anymore. It's like we're talking about how the Ravens fought back, taking the game to overtime, possibly winning the game because I thought they played really well. Outside of the turnovers, and there were a couple of drops here and there, but in spite of all of that, they were able to give themselves a chance to win. I mean, you got to remember that it was 21-10 Buffalo at halftime. It didn't look great. And in the past, we look at this and it's like, well, hey, this is when the Ravens start to fall flat. This is when they're at their worst because now they have to start throwing more. But I saw something when Lamar jogged out the field. I saw a different look, a different body language. Like, let's go. Like, we're right in this game. We're going to be good. Even when the Bills were getting the ball to start the second half, it was just a good vibe all around that I felt when I saw Lamar jogging to the locker room at halftime. I was like, you know what? I think we'll have an answer. And then lo and behold, the defense stepped up and on the first possession, got the ball back. Ravens clawed their way back into the game, and they got some great stops. I mean, Josh Allen and the Bills got to the 2 yard line, huge stop, because the Bills like to do the quarterback sneak, the tush push, whatever you want to call it, and it's been a very high succession rate. We saw it last night against the Ravens. They did it a couple of times and got a couple of touchdowns out of it, but this time the defense held strong and held Buffalo to a field goal. It was huge. If Buffalo had gotten 1 more yard for that 4th down, I think they would have went for it and it would have been a high chance of them getting that touchdown. So when they got that stop and forced the field goal kicker out, it's a huge stop. And it set up a moment that it was Lamar's moment in the playoffs. We've seen in the past that he hasn't risen to that occasion in the playoff games. However you want to shake it, he had his moment to get the team back in it, and he did. He answered with an 88-yard touchdown drive, somehow finding Isaiah Likely on really like just great protection by the offensive line, first of all, but just being able to lead that drive and putting your team in position to win the game tells me that I don't know if we can hold this playoff narrative that Lamar doesn't perform in the playoffs much longer. I'm sure it's gonna be there because it's gonna be there until he wins a championship. Let's just be honest. But that drive right there has to tell you that it's not the same old Lamar in the playoffs anymore. It had to tell you that. Because if it was, then the Ravens wouldn't have had no chance to win this game. They would not have been in the position that they were. But you got to look at Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews is a great tight end. He's been a great tight end for the Ravens for a long time. He's going to be a Hall of Famer tight end when he retires. You got to make that catch, bro. He knows it. Everyone on the team knows it. Because he's the guy that's so surefire with his hands that when Lamar got in the jams, that's the guy he would find, and he would more than likely come down with the ball. This time it looked like it was a short thing again. Like Andrews was wide open, he just had to catch it and fall backwards into the end zone. We got a tie game. It was unbelievable to see like that's the guy that dropped it. Mark Andrews dropped it, really? If it was Bateman, if it was, Isaiah Likely, a young player, Justice Hill, a running back who's not used to catching it, especially in those situations, I could see that maybe because I've seen Ravens wide receivers drop an abundance of passes that I thought they shouldn't have dropped, but I came to expect that from them. Andrews was the last guy I thought that would be the one to not come down with that ball. So it was just more shocking to me than anything. But yeah, social media is going to roast Mark Andrews for a little while. He's probably going to want to stay off social media for a while if I were him. But this don't erase the fact that he's still one of the best tight ends the Ravens have ever had, if not the greatest tight end the Ravens have had in their franchise. So It's a tough day. It's obviously tough for fans like myself because, again, you think that this team has a legit chance of going to the Super Bowl, and you look at all their losses. You could point the finger right to the Ravens themselves. Like, you did things to get in your own way and shoot yourself in the foot. Myles Garrett, the superstar defensive end for the Cleveland Browns, even said it himself to ESPN's Louis Riddick. So the Ravens are basically their own worst enemy. That's when what trips them up is themselves. And we saw it rear its ugly head again. Like, it's tough. And it's just you come to. They've been the most head scratching team all season long, and it's just from the beginning it was weird. Game 1 against Kansas City, all those penalties, and then Isaiah Likely catches in the end zone to tie the game, but his toe was on the line. Or, I'm sorry, for the touchdown, his toe was on the line. That's how the season started. Last year, a full calendar year in the AFC Championship game against the Kansas City Chiefs, Zay Flowers, right at the end zone, just fumbles it. So it's like you just look at the past calendar year as a Ravens fan, like all the stuff that's gone on leading up to this, and it's just like, man, it's tough. But getting to Lamar, it's like, look, you can't keep using the playoff narrative with him. I understand that all the ESPN analysts and people who just quite frankly hate Lamar Jackson at this point are probably going to keep using it. But if you didn't watch the game and watch that last drive and see the growth from Lamar, you're just not watching, or you don't want to see it. But hey, props to Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. They played a very clean game. Josh Allen did not throw the ball a lot, obviously. They did more rushing than throwing. But they played a clean game. They didn't turn the ball over, and they controlled their possessions, took a lot of time off the clock. And defense did just enough to get stops, and that's how they won the game. They played a different style of football that suited the situation, and they didn't turn the ball over. That was the key. If Andrews doesn't fumble, if Lamar doesn't throw the interception or have that bad snap fumble, who knows? It could be different. It could not be. But I just know that conversation would not have been about turnovers had Andrews caught that ball. So it's time to regroup.